Good morning and welcome back to my channel. It's 10:10 a.m. on Wednesday the 27th of November 2024. In group yesterday we were talking about Christmas, which is what I imagine most groups are talking about at the moment. I was sitting there listening to all the interesting conversations and humour that was going on, thinking, oh my word, how many times have I been here? Not just how many times have I been a month away from Christmas, because Christmas Day is 4 weeks today, but how many times have I been here with Slimming World? A lot. Maybe far too many. How many times have I been here? Sorry, I'm stuttering. How many times have I been here with Slimming World and been comfortable with my weight? Probably 5 consecutive years, from maybe 2015 or 16 till about 2022. And what was different about that? I think when I was in that position I wasn't feeling Christmas. So I sat here this morning because I was home alone thinking about Christmas and jotted down a few little questions that I wanted to ask myself. And I'm now going to answer them. So I've got my computer keyboard in front of me. I've turned the speed down on my speech system on my computer so that you can understand it, because ordinarily I would have it really, really fast. But I just want to go through these 5 questions, really directing them at myself. And maybe you might want to answer 1, 2 or all of them for yourself. So let's take it simply.
1. Targets and goals are good, but they're not for today.
1. Targets and goals are good, but they're not for today. I'm in a position where going to group yesterday and losing 1.5 pounds now has me at 13 stone 7. I don't have a target for a weight that I would like to be at the end of this journey, because I don't believe this journey will ever end. It never did before. But I do have in my head a thought that if I could lose another 4 pounds in the next 4 weigh-ins, which takes me up to Christmas Eve, I would get my next half stone award, so I'd have a 2.5 stone loss. But immediately that puts my mind under pressure. What if I don't do it? What if I only lose £0.5 pound each week? Does that make me a failure? Well, I'm answering that question for myself, because no, it doesn't. It doesn't make me a failure if I don't lose any more weight between now and Christmas. If I get 4 maintains, that's not failure. I just have to focus on taking it one day at a time and not setting myself up to fail by setting the bar too high. It's not a competition. I'm definitely not in competition with anybody else. Sometimes I'm in competition with myself, because I think, come on Jane, you've done better in the past. But targets and goals, I really don't want them anywhere in my vicinity. I just want to focus on living this plan, living the Slimming World plan, one day at a time. I think for today, that's enough for me.
Black. So Christmas isn't anything to fear.
2. Christmas isn't anything to fear. So why do we fear it? Why do we sit in groups saying, oh my goodness, you know, all that food, all that chocolate, 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 chocolate. You hear it everywhere you go when you're around Slimming World people. Not just in my group, I'm not meaning that, but lots of my friends do Slimming World, and they're all fearing chocolate. And this really amuses me, because if we live very close to an Asda hypermarket, and if you walk into that hypermarket any day of the year, it's full of chocolate, it's everywhere. You know, if you go into some supermarkets, they've even got chocolate in the fruit and veg section these days. Why do we fear it? It's got no power over us, only the power we give it. And why do we blow it out of all proportion when it comes to Christmas? Just because we've got more celebrations on the shelf, more heroes on the shelf, more Quality Street on the shelf? You can get that stuff 365 days of the year. If you can resist it in January, March, April, July, why do you need to give it so much power at Christmas? I'm really grateful. I'm in a situation at the moment that I haven't had any chocolate since December last year. Not because I can't, I can have as much as I like, but because I choose not to. Because I know I have an addictive problem with chocolate. I give it power over me. And bottom line is, I don't even like it that much. I am much more of a savoury person. So, my thing for today is, like Jane, remember, don't give Christmas food power over your life. I don't like turkey. Well, I can eat it. It wouldn't be my first choice. I don't eat Christmas pudding, mince pies, Christmas pudding, mince pies, Christmas cake, any of those things, because I don't like dried fruit. I'd rather go hungry than eat any of that. So I know for myself, it's not because I'm goody two-shoes, it's because I have more of a savoury taste. I prefer, give me a cheese and onion sandwich over a piece of Christmas cake any day. Don't give that stuff unnecessary power, like I'm choosing not to. And don't just eat it because it's Christmas and you feel you've got to. You haven't got to. If you go into your mum's for Christmas, or if you go into your aunties or your sons or your daughters and they've made an amazing Christmas cake, you don't have to eat it. You can tell them what a good job they've done. You don't have to eat it unless you want it, unless you choose it. So keep your power. Don't give it away to anybody else, and don't give it to food.
Black luck. 3. We create what we focus on, so don't focus on failing.
3. We create what we focus on, so don't focus on failing. I've sat in so many Slimming World groups over the last, I'm going to say nearly 40 years. And I hear people go into panic mode at Christmas because they are expecting to fail. It's going to be difficult. I've got to go to works parties. I've got to go to my husband's drinks parties. I've got to go to my daughter's for Christmas. I've got to have people round, neighbours or friends, for nibbles and drinks. I've got to. That's if you want to be sociable, do it. That's great if you're that kind of person. But that having got to doesn't mean you have to overeat. Doesn't mean you have to eat anything that you don't want. You're in control. You have the power. I'm in control. I have the power. We don't have to. Let me just go through that question again for myself.
3. We create what we focus on, so don't focus on failing.
We create what we focus on, so don't focus on failing. We can create success. We can go into the Christmas season saying, do you know what? And I think this is where I'm going to be. It's Christmas. I like Christmas to an extent. I don't like all the fuss and palaver. I'm not a big one for decorations and trees and things. I will probably decorate my own tree that I have in the house all the time. I might not. Depends whether I get around to it. But I'm not going to focus on failing with food. It's one part of Christmas. The giving is much more important. The sharing, the caring, the being there for your friends and family is much more important than using it, and I'm going to say this without quotes, than using it as an excuse to stuff your face and then a reason to beat yourself up afterwards. Because 2 things, you can eat as much as you like at Christmas. That's your choice and your business. It isn't for anybody else to tell you you shouldn't and you mustn't and you can't. If you want to do it, but enjoy it. Don't carry a load of guilt afterwards and then use it as I had to do it because they expected me to or they made me. It's choice. If you want to take days off at Christmas and enjoy the parties and whatever, do it. But it's not a crime. You don't have to pay for it afterwards. You don't have to feel guilty and resentful for it afterwards. If you've chosen, you've taken the ownership and you've decided to enjoy it in that manner. And I think for me, Christmas food-wise will be very different from most people because I don't make it like a stress over it. We don't cook a traditional Christmas dinner. we don't function that way as a, I would say a couple. We're not a couple, mum and son. We don't function that way. We're going to visit somebody on Christmas Day, and Joe will cook that person a meal, and then we will probably go for a 2-hour walk, and we'll have our food when we get home. That's how we choose to do it. That works for us. Let's look at the next question.
Backline. 4. Does Christmas taste better than losing weight feels?
Number 4, does Christmas taste better than losing weight feels? Now, for some people, it probably does. Because if you're in a situation where you love mince pies, and you can make good ones or you can buy good ones, where you love Christmas cake, where that big roast turkey dinner is something special with your kids, with your grandkids, with your partner, whoever. And if you love all that, and you love baking a Christmas cake, and you love making a proper homemade Christmas pudding and with the brandy butter, and that's something you do once a year, and it's really special. It really means it's making memories of your family. Christmas probably does taste better than losing weight feels, and that is fine. Again, I'll say it's not crime. There is nothing wrong with enjoying Christmas. Nothing at all. So don't sit in Slimming World saying, oh, I've got to do this, I must do that, I want to do this. Just say, I'm really going to enjoy my Christmas. Does it taste better than losing weight feels? For some of us, no. For some of us, yes. I don't like the taste of Christmas fare, the Christmas puddings and everything. I'm not a person, I'd never eat turkey. I never buy turkey or eat turkey. It doesn't taste better to me than losing weight feels, because I don't like that kind of food very much. But if you do, then enjoy it. You know? I'm not saying I'm going to lose weight at Christmas. I'll wait and see what happens. I'm not saying I'm going to lose weight at the weigh-in after Christmas. I'll wait and see what happens, because what I think is important with the weight loss is to live in today. The only thing I can do on this plan is focus on what I'm eating today. 2 B's, 1 A, 15 sins, and a shed load of free food and speed food. That's my plan. And if I can't find enough to eat on that to satisfy me, then for me, there's something wrong with me. I'm not judging anybody else, because you must do what you need to do. And if Christmas does taste better than losing weight feels, then go with it. Do not deprive yourself. Do not build up a load of resentment towards Christmas. I'm not going to.
Blackline. 5. Why is Christmas all about eating?
5. This is the final question for myself. Why is Christmas all about eating? I think it goes back to childhood, because we were a big family, many brothers and sisters to my dad, who lived in a village, so everybody knew everybody. And it was very much a competition. Could we do better than Auntie Winnie? Would Auntie Ida do better than us? What about Auntie Betty? What about Auntie Mabel? Was their spread bigger than ours? And it was all about not keeping up with the Joneses, keeping up with the Sewells, because that's my family name. And it was very much a competition. Who could put on the biggest and the best spread? Who could have the most chocolates? What about the alcohol table? Who had the biggest bar? You know? We never ate, we always ate well. My mum always cooked us good food and everything. But Christmas was totally over the top. And again, I'll say it, my dad was one of like 10 or 11 kids, and it was a competition, because it was a status thing, You'd made it if you got more than anybody else at Christmas. And I think I've carried that through a lot of my life. I remember, when Richard and I were together, and we always did this big Christmas thing. Far too many presents. Sometimes we went away for Christmas. Far too many presents, far too much food, and enough booze to sink a ship. And yet neither of us were particularly big drinkers. But we had whiskey, and we had rum, and we had brandy, and we had gin, and we had everything you could possibly imagine, because it looked good if people came round. And I think for me, that's why food has been a big thing at Christmas. And for me, my life is so different now. I've gone back to being a minimalist. I'm not out to impress anybody. I'm far too old and far too tired to try and impress anybody. I want to just live my life in a simple fashion. So I've done the Christmas stuff, had great fun last week doing a toy appeal thing with the Salvation Army. I've had great fun doing my own Christmas shopping for friends and family. That's the fun in Christmas for me. The food's not really relevant. And as far as the drink's concerned, I don't think I'm really that interested in booze these days. I was going to say I can't remember the last time I had a drink, but it was last Christmas when I was ill in bed with the flu and I was surviving on Heinz tomato soup and whiskey and orange. But it got me through. So, and I wasn't on Slimming World at the time, so I didn't even have to count the soup or the whiskey. But I think my message for people today is, don't stress about Christmas. It's not worth it. You know? If you want to take time off your plan at Christmas, then do it, own it and enjoy it. Don't beat yourself up afterwards. There's always another day. But if you want to stick to your plan, and maybe a lot of you are on your own, it's just me and Joe, we don't have to cook for anybody else. If you're on your own and you want to make a modest Slimming World Christmas and stick within your plan, then you're not answerable to anybody. And if you're in a family, you can prepare a decent meal that has some elements of Slimming World in it. It's all about choice, isn't it? Don't let anybody make you do anything, and don't do anything to please anybody else. You're special enough, please yourself. Right, so that's me this week. A good week on plan, really enjoyed it. The thing that I've eaten this week that I haven't eaten for many, many years, if ever, is spinach. I'm not going to go into this Slimming World, oh my God, put spinach with everything, buy great big bags of the fresh stuff. I've seen that on Slimming World channels too often. What I did buy this week was some frozen spinach, and I've been cooking it and adding it to my Slimming World meals. So I would make the pasta bolognese, which has got the macaroni in it, in a bolognese sauce, and I would stir into it when it was cooked about 175 grams of cooked spinach and a bag of cooked cauliflower rice to bulk it up to make it into a good sized meal. And I've really enjoyed the spinach. I mean, I eat cauliflower rice regularly, but I didn't think I liked spinach. I don't know what made me say to Joe when we were in Sainsbury's last week, I'll get some frozen spinach, but I'm glad I did. And bless him, he got me another bag from Asda yesterday because I've eaten it all. But that for me is the answer at the moment. I like the Slimming World meals. I have one Slimming World meal every day. I'm not trying the Slimming World kitchen because that involves me having to cook it myself, doesn't it? I'm a lazy so-and-so. But I have enjoyed the Slimming World meals. I will have one at lunchtime every day. Sometimes the lunch size, sometimes the dinner size. Yesterday I had the Korean beef. And I know some people are averse to eating Slimming World meals, but the Korean beef is lovely. If you like hot peppery. You know, somebody at group recommended it, I tried it, I enjoyed it. But it's a 550 gram meal and I added at least 300 grams of veg to it. So I don't eat small, I eat what I enjoy. And if I start something and I don't like it, I'd dump it and cook something else. I would never enjoy a meal I wasn't really, really enjoying. Because that's important to me on plan. So a great week on plan. £1.50 off, which has me at a loss of £31 now. So I've gone from 15.10 to 13.7, and I don't even feel like I'm on a plan. I certainly don't feel like I'm on a diet. I'm happy. I'm enjoying it, and I'm so grateful that on the 21st of May I decided to come back to Slimming World, and I didn't leave it till now or the new year. Yeah, for me, it was probably now or never, and the now is living in the day, working the plan. The never might just never arrive. So I couldn't say I'm going to wait till the new year, because come the new year, I'd have another excuse not to do it. I hope you've all had a good week, and I'll be back next Wednesday. Okay, cheers.